There are moments in your life when you look back and wonder, how did I make it through that? You remember the nights when the weight on your chest felt like it would crush you, the mornings when you didn't want to get out of bed, the phone calls that shattered your peace, the betrayals that left you questioning who you could trust. And yet, you're still here. That's not an accident. That's not luck. That's not because you were strong enough on your own. It's because I fought for you. You didn't see me in those moments, but I was there. I was fighting battles you didn't even know existed. I was pushing away dangers you couldn't see. I was standing between you and the destruction that was coming for you. You may have thought you were walking alone, but I was right beside you. Every tear you cried, I counted. Every fear you carried, I felt. Every prayer you whispered, even the ones that were nothing more than a heavy sigh, reached me. There was a time when you almost gave up. You told yourself, I can't do this anymore. I'm too tired. I'm done. But right when you were ready to quit, my spirit stirred something inside you, a whisper that said, just one more step. Don't stop now. And you took that step. That single act of faith opened a door you couldn't see yet. That step moved you out of danger's reach. You thought you kept going because you found a strength, but that strength wasn't yours, it was mine, placed inside you at the exact moment you needed it. Do you remember the seasons when the people you trusted walked away? When the ones you thought would stand with you disappeared? You felt abandoned, rejected, forgotten. But I was protecting you. I was removing those who could not walk into the next chapter of your life without bringing harm to it. I saw the things you couldn't see, the jealousy in their hearts, the plans behind their smiles. I knew what would happen if they stayed. So I fought for you by letting them go. Every closed door in your life was not a rejection, it was a rescue. Every unanswered prayer was not silence, it was strategy. I was keeping you from what would harm you, even if you couldn't understand it at the time. I remember the night you cried yourself to sleep, asking me, "Why me, Lord? Why does it have to hurt this much?" And while you slept, I was working. I was aligning the right people to cross your path. I was preparing opportunities that would come at the exact right moment. I was softening hearts you didn't even know would matter to your future. You thought nothing was happening, but everything was happening. There was once a man who walked through the desert for 3 days without water. The sun scorched his skin. The sand burned his feet, and every step felt heavier than the last. He thought he would die there. But just beyond the next hill, there was an oasis, water that had been flowing long before he even began his journey. He didn't know it was there, but every step he took was leading him toward it. That's how it's been for you. You've thought you were lost. You've thought you were wandering. But I have been guiding you to the place I prepared for you long before you knew you would need it. The enemy wanted you broken, but I fought for your healing. The enemy wanted your mind in chains, but I fought for your freedom. The enemy wanted you to drown in shame, but I fought for your redemption. And I want you to know I am still fighting. I didn't just fight for you when the situation was desperate. I fight for you every single day. When you travel, I am your covering. When you sleep, I keep watch over you. When you speak, I am in the words that carry life. When you feel weak, I am the quiet strength rising within you, even when you can't explain where it came from. You may think the hardest battles are behind you, but some battles are still being fought right now, battles you can't see. That's why sometimes you feel resistance without understanding where it's coming from. It's because I'm pushing back forces that were sent to harm you. If I have fought for you before, I will fight for you again. I will not lose you. One day you'll look back and realize that the moments you thought I had abandoned you were the moments I was carrying you the farthest. You will see that every scar is proof you were worth the fight. And you are worth the fight. I have seen you at your lowest, and I still chose you. I have seen the thoughts you're ashamed of, and I still love you. I have heard the doubts you never dared to say out loud, and I still believe in the future I have planned for you. When others saw failure, I saw potential. When others saw weakness, I saw someone who would rise again. When others counted you out, I wrote you back into the story. There's a reason you're still here. There's a reason you woke up this morning. You're still part of my plan, and nothing, no person, no mistake, no attack can remove you from my hand. Do you know what I see when I look at you? I see the moments you've overcome. I see the storms you've walked through. I see the nights you prayed for a way out and I made a way. I see the strength you don't even realize you have because it's my strength living inside you. And I want you to know the fight I fought for you wasn't easy. It was fierce, it was relentless, it was costly, but I never hesitated. I never thought twice about it because you are mine. You've been told you're lucky to have survived what you've survived, but it wasn't luck, it was love. My love for you has been the shield, the anchor, the light in the dark. Even now, I am preparing things for you. I am moving pieces you can't see. I am setting up divine appointments that will change the course of your life. You won't recognize them at first, but when the pieces come together, you will look back and say, "It was God all along." So don't give up. Don't let the waiting make you believe I'm not working. Don't let the silence make you think I've stopped speaking. I am here, I am moving, I am fighting. You are protected, you are chosen, you are loved more than you could ever understand. And above all, you are worth every battle I have fought and every battle I will fight until my work in you is complete. You've walked through seasons you never thought you'd survive. There were days when the darkness felt thicker than the light, when the questions in your mind screamed louder than your faith, when every step felt like a burden you weren't sure you could carry. But you did survive. And you didn't survive because the road was easy. You survived because I walked it with you. I have been with you in ways you didn't even realize. I have been in the room when people spoke about you in your absence. I have been in conversations you never heard, closing the mouths that would have cursed your future, opening the hearts that would show you kindness. I have been in decisions made behind closed doors, ensuring that even when the outcome seemed uncertain, it would still work for your good. You've wondered sometimes, if God is with me, why do I still face so many battles? The truth is, my presence does not mean the absence of a fight. My presence means the fight will not destroy you. I didn't promise you a life without storms. I promised you a life where the storms wouldn't win. Do you remember the opportunities you thought you lost? The doors that slammed shut right when you thought they were the answer? You felt disappointed, even betrayed. But I was the one closing them. I saw what was waiting behind those doors, and I refused to let you walk into a place that would steal your joy, your peace, or your purpose. Sometimes my fight for you doesn't look like a sword. It looks like a no. There was once a young woman who worked hard for a promotion. She prayed for it, dreamed of it, told her family about it, but the promotion went to someone else. She cried, thinking she had failed. Months later, the department she had wanted to join was dissolved, leaving everyone in it without a job.
Meanwhile, she was offered a position in a new division that brought more pay, more stability, and more growth. She realized later what looked like rejection was really my protection. That's how I have fought for you. I've fought for your mind when fear tried to convince you there was no way forward. I've fought for your heart when pain tried to harden it. I've fought for your faith when doubt tried to bury it. Even in the moments when you felt far from me, I was closer than you knew. You have no idea how many attacks never reached you because I stood in the way. There were accidents that never happened, words that were never spoken, traps that were never sprung, all because I dismantled them before they could touch you. You've been in places where the weight of the battle made you feel like quitting. You told yourself, maybe it's just not worth it anymore. But then something happened. You found the strength to keep going. You don't even know where it came from, but I do. It came from me. I sent encouragement at just the right time, a message from a friend, a verse you stumbled across, a stranger's kind word, so you would know you weren't alone. Once there was a man who planned to cross a narrow bridge over a deep canyon. Just before he reached it, a stranger stopped him to ask for directions. The conversation lasted only a few minutes, but when the man finally reached the bridge, he discovered a large section had just collapsed. If he had crossed moments earlier, he would have fallen. That interruption was my intervention. You've had moments like that, delays, detours, interruptions, that frustrated you at the time, but saved you in the long run. That is the evidence of my fight for you. I have fought for you when you didn't even know you were in danger. I have fought for you when you didn't even believe I was there. I have fought for you when you thought you had nothing worth fighting for. You are here today because I never stopped. Every morning you wake up is proof of my protection. Every moment you feel peace in the middle of chaos is proof of my presence. Every time you've gotten back up after falling is proof of my power. And hear me, if I fought for you before, I will fight for you again. The enemy doesn't get the final say over your life. The circumstances you're facing right now are not greater than my ability to bring you through them. You may feel tired, but I am your strength. You may feel surrounded, but I am your shield. And I want you to know something else. There are blessings I've prepared for you that will make sense of the battles you faced. There will be moments in the future when you'll look around and realize, if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't be here. You've been tested, but the test has been shaping you. You've been delayed, but the delay has been preparing you. You've been refined in fire, but the fire has been making you unshakable. So even when the fight feels too much, remember, it's not you alone in the battle. I am here. I am the one who goes before you, the one who stands beside you, and the one who covers you from behind. You are not just surviving. You are being positioned. You are not just enduring. You are being prepared. You are not just waiting. You are being strengthened. And when the time is right, what I've been building for you will be revealed. The same hands that fought for you will place you exactly where you're meant to be. So take courage. Lift your head. You are still in the middle of my plan, and my plan is still good. You've been worth every battle I've fought, and I'm not done yet.
There have been moments in your life when you stood at the edge, emotionally, spiritually, even physically, and you felt like you had nothing left to give. You didn't see a way forward. You didn't see a reason to try again. But I did. I saw the next chapter long before you reached the end of the last one. I saw the victory before you even stepped onto the battlefield. I saw the healing before the wound was even there. That's why I fought for you so fiercely.
because I already knew the story wasn't over. You may not realize it, but many of the battles you faced weren't just about the present moment. They were about your future. The enemy wasn't only trying to hurt you, he was trying to stop the calling I placed on your life. And that's why I stepped in. I fought for your mind when thoughts of fear and hopelessness tried to take root. I fought for your heart when disappointment tried to turn it cold. I fought for your future when the pressure around you tried to convince you there was no point in moving forward. You didn't always see me, but you felt the moments when hope suddenly rose in your heart again. That wasn't random. That was me, breathing life into your spirit when you thought it was too tired to keep going. There was once a soldier who fought a long, exhausting war. For years, he battled day and night, losing friends, losing strength, losing hope. One winter, surrounded and outnumbered, he thought it was over. But one morning, before the enemy could attack, reinforcements arrived. They had been marching toward him for days. He just couldn't see them yet. The soldier realized later the help had been on the way long before he even cried out. That's how I've worked in your life. Long before you called my name in desperation, I had already set help in motion. I've fought for you in ways you would never think to thank me for, because you didn't even know it was happening. You've been protected from situations you thought you wanted, but that would have broken you. You've been rescued from people who smiled in your face, but carried harm in their hearts. You've been rerouted from paths that looked smooth, but led to destruction. You've also been in seasons where it seemed like everything hit at once: loss, betrayal, financial strain, health struggles. You thought it was the enemy winning, but I was still there. I was strengthening you to carry more than you thought possible, not to burden you, but to prepare you for what was ahead. And while you saw chaos, I saw construction. Do you remember the times when you prayed for something to happen immediately, and it didn't? You thought I wasn't answering. But I was answering, just not in the way you expected. Sometimes my fight for you has meant delaying what you thought you needed so that it would arrive at the right time, in the right way, without the enemy being able to touch it. Once there was a farmer who planted seeds and prayed for rain. Days passed without a single cloud in the sky. He worried the seeds would die. But in the soil, unseen to him, the roots were stretching deep, preparing to hold a harvest so heavy it would last for years. When the rain finally came, the growth was explosive. That's what I've been doing in your life, growing roots before the rain, so that when the blessing comes, you'll be able to hold it. I fought for you in your relationships, removing those who drained you and bringing those who would lift you higher. I fought for you in your work, closing opportunities that seemed appealing, but that would have pulled you away from your purpose. I fought for you in your spirit, protecting you from lies that would have poisoned your faith. Even when you felt unseen, I saw you. Even when you felt unheard, I listened. Even when you felt unworthy, I called you mine. You may think your survival was because of your strength, but the truth is, it was because of my fight. The moments when you felt just strong enough to take one more step, that was me. The times you were about to give up, but something shifted inside you, that was me. The days you woke up with a strange peace in the middle of a storm, that was me. And now, I want you to hear this clearly. The same God who fought for you then is fighting for you now. The battles you face today are not greater than my ability to overcome them. The struggles in front of you are not stronger than my will to bring you through them. I don't just want you to survive, I want you to stand. I want you to see the goodness I've been preparing for you all along. Your story is not of defeat. Your story is one of battles fought and victories won. many of which you didn't even realize were happening. You are here right now because I never stopped. I never gave up on you. I never walked away, and I never will. So take courage. Lift your eyes. The fight is not over, but neither is my favor. What's coming will be worth every single battle it took to get here. And when you stand in that place I've prepared for you, you'll look back and realize every step, every tear, every delay, every closed door, it was all part of the fight I fought for you.
I have seen every battle you faced, both the ones people knew about and the ones you carried quietly in your heart. There were moments you smiled in front of others, but felt like collapsing when you were alone. You hid the pain because you didn't want anyone to know you were breaking inside. But I saw. And while you were holding yourself together on the outside, I was holding your soul together on the inside. You may not realize it, but the reason you didn't lose yourself completely is because I refused to let go of you. I fought for your sanity when fear tried to overwhelm you. I fought for your identity when lies tried to convince you that you were worthless. I fought for your destiny when it seemed like it was slipping away. There was once a young boy who trained for years to run in a great race. On the day of the event, halfway through, he stumbled and fell hard. Everyone passed him by. Some laughed, others shook their heads. His knees were bleeding, his spirit crushed. He wanted to quit. But his father stepped out from the crowd, ran to him, lifted him up, and walked every step beside him until he crossed the finish line. That's what I've done for you. When you fell, I didn't leave you behind. I came to where you were and carried you forward. You've wondered why I let you go through certain struggles. You've asked me, why didn't you just remove it completely? But sometimes the fight wasn't about removing the challenge. It was about strengthening you in the middle of it. I wasn't just fighting the battle in front of you. I was building the warrior inside of you. I've been in the conversations where your name was mentioned with the intention of harm, and I turned those words into nothing. I've been in the moments when decisions were made about your future, ensuring that what was meant to harm you was redirected for your good. Do you remember the job you didn't get, the relationship that ended suddenly, the trip that didn't happen? You thought those were losses, but they were victories you couldn't see yet. I was redirecting you away from what would have stolen more from you than it could ever give. Once, there was a ship headed into a fierce storm. The captain didn't see it until the winds began to rise. But miles away in the lighthouse, a keeper saw the danger coming and signaled the ship to turn. The crew grumbled at the delay, but the detour led them into calm waters. Only later did they realize the path they were on would have sunk them. That's what my fight for you has looked like. Detours that felt frustrating at the time, but saved you from storms that would have destroyed you. I've fought for you in ways you'll never fully know. I've stayed the hand of those who wanted to harm you. I've placed confusion in the camp of the enemy so their plans fell apart before they even began. I've opened doors that no one could close and closed doors that no one could open. And even now, I'm still doing it. You might feel pressure right now. You might be walking through another season where the weight feels heavy. But I want you to remember, this is not the first time you felt this way. And every time before, I've brought you through. This time will be no different. I'm not just watching from a distance. I'm in the middle of the fight. I'm moving pieces, shifting circumstances, and working in the unseen. There's a reason you've survived every single thing that tried to destroy you. It's because I fought for you, every time. The nights you thought you wouldn't make it to morning, I sat with you through them. The days you didn't know how you'd keep going, I carried you through them. The moments you felt like everything was falling apart, I was holding everything together. And I want you to know this: your survival wasn't just for you. I've kept you alive because your story is not finished. There are people who will be healed because of what you've been through. There are lives that will change because you kept going. So don't let the weight of the fight make you think you're losing. If you could see what I've been holding back, you'd realize you've already won more battles than you've lost. You are not here by chance. You are here because my fight for you has been fierce, unrelenting, and full of love. And I will keep fighting until every promise I've made to you is fulfilled. I know there were moments when you thought the enemy had the upper hand. The pressure was heavy. The losses seemed to stack one after another, and you couldn't see a way out. You looked around and thought, this might be the one that breaks me. But it wasn't. Because while you saw the battle in front of you, I saw the victory on the other side. While you saw the giant, I saw the sling and the stone in your hand. While you saw the closed door, I saw the one that was already swinging open. You didn't see it, but I've been fighting for you in every season. Not just in the big dramatic moments, but in the ordinary days when you thought nothing significant was happening. My fight for you is not only in miracles, it's in the daily protection you take for granted. There was a traveler who set out through the mountains. Midway through his journey, he heard from another traveler that there were bandits ahead on the road. Fear began to rise in his heart. But before he could reach that part of the trail, a sudden storm came, forcing him to stop and seek shelter in a small village. The next morning, he learned the bandits had moved on in the night. The storm he hated was the shield that saved him. That's what I've done for you. Turned storms into shelter. I've delayed you on purpose. I've shifted your plans to protect you. I've blocked roads you were determined to take because I saw the danger you couldn't see. And it's not only danger I've been fighting against, it's every plan of the enemy to make you forget who you are. I've fought for your identity when the world tried to define you by your mistakes. I've fought for your worth when people tried to make you believe you had none. I've fought for your joy when pain tried to swallow it whole. You might think that survival means the battle is over, but sometimes survival is just the proof that I'm not done with you yet. The breath in your lungs is the evidence that my plan for you is still in motion. There was a fisherman whose boat was caught in a sudden storm. The waves were high, the wind fierce, and he feared for his life. But in the middle of it, he remembered his father's voice telling him as a boy, "If the storm is too strong to row through, drop anchor and wait it out." He did, and the anchor held. The next morning, the waters calmed, and he made it safely home. That's what I've been for you, your anchor in the storm. When you couldn't row forward, I kept you from drifting into destruction. You've faced situations where the outcome should have been worse, far worse. But the reason it wasn't is because I fought for you in ways you couldn't see. I've rerouted attacks before they reached you. I've silenced voices that would have spoken against you. I've placed you in the right place at the right time without you even knowing how it happened. And I'm still doing it now. This fight is not over, but neither is my strength. You will see the day when I've been working on behind the scenes is revealed, and you will understand why I moved the way I did. So if you're tired, lean on me. If you're unsure, trust me. I have never fought for you halfway. I have fought for you fully, with everything I am, and I will not stop until my purpose for you is complete.
There were seasons when you carried a quiet heaviness no one else could see. You went about your day, doing what needed to be done, but inside you were worn thin. You told yourself, I can't let anyone know how close I am to breaking. But I knew. I saw every silent tear, every restless night, every moment you thought you had to face alone. You weren't alone, not for 1 second. While you were holding yourself together in front of the world, I was holding your spirit together in the unseen. I've fought for you in ways that looked nothing like fighting. Sometimes my battle plan was rest when you expected rescue.
Sometimes it was redirection when you wanted relief. And sometimes it was silence because I was dismantling the problem at its root before it could grow into something greater. Do you remember the times you felt an urge to wait before making a decision? You didn't understand why, but you hesitated. Later you found out that acting too soon would have led to trouble. That hesitation wasn't random. It was me, stepping between you and a choice that would have brought harm. Once, there was a man who took the same route home every evening. One night, just before leaving work, his coworker invited him to stay a little longer and help with a task. He agreed, even though it meant being late. On the way home, he saw flashing lights and a roadblock. An accident had happened at the exact time he would have been passing through. He realized then that the delay had saved his life. That's what my fight for you has looked like. Not just pulling you out of storms, but guiding you around them altogether. I have fought for your mind when anxiety tried to take control. I have fought for your heart when disappointment tried to shut it down. I have fought for your soul when the lies of the enemy tried to convince you I was no longer near. And even in the seasons when you doubted me, I never stopped believing in what I placed inside you. I didn't call you because you were perfect. I called you because you are mine. I didn't fight for you because you were flawless. I fought for you because I love you beyond measure. You faced losses that felt unfair, setbacks that made no sense, and detours you didn't want to take. But each one was part of a bigger fight, a fight not just to get you through today, but to secure your tomorrow. There was a gardener who pruned a tree so heavily one spring that it looked almost bare. The neighbors thought he'd ruined it. But by summer, the tree grew back stronger, with more fruit than it had ever produced. The pruning wasn't punishment, it was preparation. That's how I've worked in your life. The cuts, the losses, the endings, they weren't to destroy you, they were to make room for something greater to grow. I know it hasn't been easy. I know you've wondered why I didn't step in sooner, why I didn't just remove the problem completely. But the truth is, some battles I fought for you required time. Time to align circumstances, time to prepare hearts, time to position you so the victory would be lasting. And I want you to hear this. I have not lost a single battle over your life. Not one. Even now, I am still fighting for you. I am still protecting you from attacks you don't see. I am still arranging opportunities that will be ready when the time is right. I am still guarding the dreams I've placed in your heart so they are not stolen or crushed. So do not be afraid of the road ahead. Do not think for a moment that you are unprotected. The same God who fought for you yesterday is fighting for you today and will fight for you tomorrow. You are here because you are worth every battle I have fought, and I am not done yet. I have watched you step into situations without knowing how they would turn out. You've walked into rooms filled with uncertainty, taken steps of faith when you couldn't see the ground beneath you, and faced challenges you never thought you could handle. And every time you moved forward, I was there, strengthening your heart, steadying your steps, guiding your way. I've fought for you when people misunderstood you. I've fought for you when your name was spoken with falsehoods. I have fought for you when the enemy tried to convince you that you had no value, that your voice didn't matter, that your life had no impact. Once there was a shepherd who noticed one of his sheep missing late at night. The hillside was steep, the air was cold, and the path was dangerous. But he left the safety of the flock to find the one that wandered. He climbed through darkness, braved the cliffs, and didn't stop until he carried that sheep back home. That is how I have fought for you. Relentlessly, personally, without hesitation. You have thought before, if God really loved me, wouldn't he stop all this pain? But my fight for you has often meant something deeper than just taking the pain away.
Sometimes I've allowed you to walk through challenges so that your faith would be stronger than your fear. I wasn't absent in those moments. I was right there beside you, fighting off what you couldn't see, guiding you through what you could see. There were times you felt like every prayer bounced off the ceiling, but I heard them all. Even the prayers you couldn't put into words, the ones that were just tears falling in the dark, I heard those too. Once, a sailor was lost in thick fog. He couldn't see the shore or tell which direction was home. But far in the distance, a lighthouse kept shining. Even though the fog didn't lift immediately, the light guided him forward until he reached safety. That's what I have done for you. I didn't always lift the fog instantly, but I gave you enough light to keep moving forward. You've been through storms that made you question everything you believed, but you came out of them with a faith that is deeper, stronger, and more unshakable than before. That is the fruit of the battles I have fought for you. When you didn't think you had enough strength to go another day, I fought to put that strength inside you. When your hope felt too small to hold on to, I fought to keep it alive. When your dreams seemed buried, I fought to keep them from dying completely. I fought for your relationships, removing the ones that would harm you and restoring the ones that would heal you. I fought for your calling, closing doors that would distract you and opening doors that would align with my purpose for you. I fought for your future, making sure the wrong opportunities never had a chance to take you off course. You have no idea how many coincidences were actually my interventions. The job you didn't get, the trip you didn't take, the person you never met, those were all battles I fought for you. And I am still fighting now. Do not mistake the waiting for my absence. I am not idle. I am active. Even when you feel stuck, I am moving pieces you cannot see, setting the stage for a breakthrough that will arrive exactly when it should. The enemy's greatest weapon is to make you believe you are alone. But you are not. You have never been alone. My fight for you began before you took your first breath, and it will continue until your final day on earth. And even then, it will not end, because I will carry you into eternity. So stand firm. Keep walking. The same hands that have shielded you before are shielding you now. The same love that has carried you before is carrying you now. You are worth the fight. You have always been worth the fight, and I will never stop.
I have been your protector in ways you never realized. There were times you thought things just worked out, but they didn't just happen. I worked them out. There were problems you thought disappeared on their own, but they didn't vanish by chance. I removed them before they could touch you. Once, there was a woman who missed her train one morning. She felt frustrated, certain she would be late and everything would fall apart. But later she learned the train had broken down inside a tunnel, leaving passengers stranded for hours. What seemed like a setback was actually a rescue. That's how I've moved in your life, turning what you call delays into shields of protection. I've fought for your heart when grief tried to make it cold. I've fought for your vision when fatigue tried to cloud it. I've fought for your calling when the enemy tried to convince you it was too late. And even now, I'm fighting battles you can't see. Some in the spiritual realm, some in the physical. I've been breaking chains you didn't know were holding you back. I've been shifting circumstances so they align perfectly with my plan for your life. Do you remember the times you narrowly avoided harm? The accident you missed by minutes? The illness that passed you by? The opportunity that came at just the right time? None of that was coincidence. Those were battles I fought and won before you even knew there was a fight. I have fought for you in the middle of the night while you slept, while you worried, while you doubted, while you didn't even think of me. My fight for you has never depended on how strong your faith feels in the moment. It has always depended on my love for you, which never changes. Once, a child wandered too close to a busy street. Her father saw her from across the yard and ran full speed, scooping her into his arms before she could step into danger. She didn't see the cars. She didn't know the risk. She only knew she was suddenly safe in her father's embrace. That's what I've done for you over and over again, pulled you back from edges you didn't even know were there. And yet, my fight for you is not only about keeping you safe. It's about leading you forward. I haven't only been protecting you from what's behind, I've been guiding you toward what's ahead. When you thought nothing was moving, I was laying the foundation for the next chapter. When you felt overlooked, I was positioning you for the right moment. When you thought I was silent, I was speaking in places you couldn't hear yet. Every season has been part of the battle plan, the victories, the losses, the delays, the breakthroughs, and all of it has been working together to bring you to the place I've prepared for you. The things that tried to destroy you will become the proof of how deeply I've fought for you. The scars you carry are not signs of defeat. They are reminders that you survived because you were worth the fight. So walk into tomorrow with confidence, not because the road will always be easy, but because you know I walk it with you. I have never lost a battle over your life, and I will not start now.
There have been moments when you stood at a crossroads, unsure which way to go. You prayed for clarity, but all you heard was silence. That silence wasn't neglect, it was strategy. In those moments, I was clearing the wrong paths so you wouldn't walk them. I was shaping the right one so that when you stepped forward, you would step into safety, not danger. I have fought for you when temptation whispered that the easy way was better. I have fought for you when loneliness tried to convince you that you were forgotten. I have fought for you when failure tried to stamp your life with the label finished. Once, a sailor was caught in thick fog. The horizon disappeared, the shoreline vanished, and every direction felt the same. But far in the distance, a lighthouse burned steadily through the mist. He still had to navigate carefully, still had to steer with faith, but that light gave him enough to move forward. That's what I've done for you. I didn't always lift the fog instantly, but I gave you just enough light to keep going. And that light was me. You've walked through seasons where it felt like the heavens were silent, but I was speaking in ways you didn't recognize. Through the friend who checked on you, through the opportunity that came when you were about to give up, through the unexpected peace that settled over you in a moment of chaos. I've been the reason certain relationships ended before they could harm you. I've been the reason certain doors closed before you could walk through them. I've been the reason certain dreams didn't come to life when you wanted them to, because the timing would have destroyed what I wanted to bless. And while you've sometimes mistaken my fight for rejection, I've only ever been fighting for your protection. Once, a farmer's land was threatened by a swarm of locusts. He prayed desperately for them to go away. The next morning, a powerful wind swept in and blew them far from his fields. But the same wind knocked over some of his fences. At first, he was upset, but later he realized that repairing those fences was a small price to pay for saving his entire harvest. That's what some of your losses have been. Small costs in exchange for greater victories. Even now, I am fighting for you in places you cannot see. I am standing between you and dangers you'll never have to face. I am positioning the right people in your path and moving the wrong ones out of your way.
I am making sure the next season of your life will be filled with what you need, not just what you think you want. You are here, right now, not because the battles weren't real, but because I was more real than any battle you faced. So do not fear the path ahead. I will light it, I will guard it, and I will walk it with you. My fight for you has never stopped, and it never will.
From the very beginning of your life, I have been fighting for you. Before you even knew my name, before you could speak a word, before you could make a choice, I was already at war for your future. I fought for you when you were unaware of danger. I fought for you when you wandered far from the path I had prepared. I fought for you when you thought you didn't deserve to be fought for, and I never once considered giving up. You've walked through fire and thought it would consume you. You've been through storms that made you think you would sink. You faced battles where you were certain you would lose, but each time you came out. Not because you were lucky, not because you were the strongest, but because I was fighting with everything I am to keep you. There's a reason the arrows didn't destroy you. There's a reason the lies didn't define you. There's a reason the weight didn't crush you. It's because my hand has been on your life from the beginning, and nothing, no person, no attack, no darkness can remove you from it. Once a king heard that an enemy army was marching toward his city. Outnumbered and outmatched, the people panicked. But while they slept, the king's warriors went out into the night and confronted the enemy before they ever reached the gates. By morning, the danger was gone, and the people never knew how close they had come to destruction. That's what I've done for you. You don't even know the half of what I've shielded you from. You have no idea how many dangers I've turned away before they could touch you. And here's what I want you to understand. I didn't fight for you halfway. I didn't protect you just enough. I gave everything. Every battle over your life, I treated as if it were the most important battle in the world, because to me, it was. Even when you doubted me, even when you wandered, even when you thought you'd gone too far for me to reach you, I fought harder. I have walked into the deepest valleys with you. I have stood in the fiercest storms beside you. I have gone before you into places you didn't even know you'd need to walk, preparing the ground so you could stand when you got there. And I'm not done. The battles you've already seen me win are only a fraction of what I will do for you. You will see the day when the pieces of your life come together, when the questions you carry now are answered, when the pain you've endured is transformed into testimony. You will see the day when you finally understand why certain doors never opened and why certain paths never became yours. And on that day, you will know every moment, every tear, every delay, every detour, it was all part of my fight for you. So this is my promise to you. I will not stop. I will not back down. I will not let the enemy take what belongs to you. I will not leave you to fight alone. I will fight for you in the quiet, when no one sees. I will fight for you in the chaos, when everything shakes. I will fight for you when you feel strong, and I will fight for you when you feel weak. I will fight for you until every promise I've spoken over your life comes to pass. Walk forward now with courage, not because you will never face another battle, but because you will never face another battle alone. You are here, alive, breathing, standing, because I fought very hard for you, and I will fight for you always.